Yo, 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 yo. What's poppin', people? Back with another episode, TG and Tata. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Big fight this weekend. We had Gervonta Tank Davis going up against Ryan Garcia. I don't even want to put the king on it, just Ryan Garcia. So, it was a pretty entertaining fight. You had two knockdowns. Fight stopped in the 7th round with a body shot or a liver shot. I called it. I called it. I mean, as soon as this fight was announced, I called the round. I never wavered. I never switched. I said it was going to be a 7th round knockout. I said Gervonta going to stop him in the 7th. That's what I said. And it played out just like that. So, long story short, moving right along, in the post press conference, Ryan Garcia team did not show. So we have Bernard Hopkins, De La Hoya, and Joe Goosen did not show up, which Joe Goosen is his trainer and Oscar and Bernard is the representative for promotion side of it. So they didn't show up. They talked a lot pre-fight, but after the fight they didn't show up. So I just was like, did they just feed him to the wolves? Did Ryan Garcia want this fight so bad and Oscar didn't want him to have it? It was his last cash cow, and so he got backed in the corner and Ryan got the fight. Ryan lost, and I think, they just fed him to the wolves. I want to talk about Joe Goosen and Ryan Garcia and the mole. 100% I believe, this is my opinion, that Joe Goosen is the mole that was in the camp. I say that for several reasons, but if you notice pre-fight, Oscar De La Hoya and Leonard Ellaby was going back and forth, taking shots at each other. Ryan and Gervonta taking shots at each other. Coach Calvin even stepped in and said a few words. But Bernard didn't say anything, but Joe Goosen got up there, he didn't entertain it, which was understanding, but he also have a connection to the Gervonta Davis side of it. When I got married, we went to Vegas for the honeymoon, and we was right down the road from Mayweather boxing gym, so we went up to the boxing gym, just to see, what I mean. So when we went up there, we seen several people. We seen Floyd Mayweather Sr., we seen Jack Mosley, I think we seen Sugar Shane Mosley's son as well. We seen Kenny Porter, we seen Kenny Bayless, we seen Joe Goosen. He had on a PBC face mask. I'll never forget it because we was watching him spar. If you ever been up there, it's really not that big. So we sitting there watching him spar, and at the time, he had walked up, and you could tell he was somebody of some importance. He really didn't speak to nobody but to who he was talking to. I just noticed him. I didn't know who he was at the time. So when I started seeing the press conference, I'm like, that's the same guy we seen in the Mayweather gym. You know what I mean? Didn't think nothing of it. And I'm like, well, how would he be on that side? I said, oh, he owned his own gym. I said, he must be pretty close with Floyd and them, here nor there. So, fast forward to after the fight. No one shows. De La Hoya said he was receiving death threats. Bernard Hopkins said he didn't want nothing to go down. He said he was banned, which he wasn't. And Joe Goosen, I don't even know what was his reason for not showing. I don't even think he even gave a reason of not showing. But back to the mole in the camp. Then you had this Vietnamese guy come out and say, I'm sorry for being the mole. I hurt you with a body shot, and I'm sorry. I hope you're okay. But that was just the overlay for the underplay. That was smoke and mirrors. Because if you pay attention to the press conference, Joe Goosen, Leonard Ellaby said, I know, Tank kept telling Ryan, I know what I know when you train and this and that and whatever. And Leonard Ellaby said, I know how many miles you running. Tank told him, you didn't eat breakfast this morning. A lot of little details. If you're a sparring partner, you're not going to know what he ate in the morning. It's just, I see you at the gym, but here nor there, the trainer would know this. The trainer would know how many miles you ran. The trainer would know how many rounds you sparred. The trainer would know if you got hurt. You know what I mean? So in the midst of that, and I was watching, I'm like, when they said it was a Mo, I kept telling my wife, I said, it's that guy, the Joe Goosen guy. Remember we seen him at the gym? She was like, yeah. I said, it's him. I bet you it's him. And so here it is after the fight. He does an interview. And in this interview, he was basically talking about his relationship with the Mayweather camp. And he said, I talk to Leonard all the time. And it clicked right at that moment. I knew he was the Mo. I knew it. And he said, I talk to him all the time, whatnot. So it's supposed to be his brother-in-law, Tom Brown, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it's somebody who's connected to the Gervonta Tank Davis side. So, if he's giving up information of when Ryan's training, when he's not, he only comes to the gym 3 times a week, they would know. They would know. That was just part of the games that Floyd used to play, I remember Floyd, he made Robert Guerrero do the whole press run by himself. The whole press run. I was like, that's dirty. And then got in the ring and just beat the brakes off of him. But here nor there. That's what I wanted to speak on. Joe Goosen and Ryan Garcia. It was a great fight. He ended up firing Joe Goosen, and a lot of people said, he fired him because he didn't show up to the press conference. Well, I don't know how many fights he got under Golden Boy Promotions, but he need to cut ties with them as well. De La Hoya did the same thing to Canelo and Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo, De La Hoya did the same thing in the post press conference. It's just, De La Hoya has been taking L's to the Mayweather promotion and Floyd Mayweather for a long time. Ever since he lost to Floyd, I don't think it's been one fighter that he had that has gotten a win. Don't quote me on this, but gotten a win over the Mayweather boxing gym. I know for a fact Floyd ran through like a lot of his fighters, and then now you retired, you got Gervonta starting to tear down your stable. And I think Ryan Garcia was probably one of the last cash cows that was over there, because Canelo is not with Golden Boy no more. They had a falling out. So it's going to be interesting to see where Golden Boy take it from here. And I believe this is also something I would wish to happen, and I've been seeing trinkles of it, but this is something I really want to speak on. Ryan Garcia, he has talent. He's fast, he's quick, nice jab, nice left hook. He doesn't move his head, he doesn't keep his hands up. It's just a lot of little things, but I believe if Floyd Mayweather was willing to work with him, and Coach Calvin was willing to work with this guy, you know what I mean? He said he was moving up to 140. But if they was willing to work with him, it's a good chance that he may be champion again. But I think also, as far as him training, Joe Goosen was making statements as far as like, oh, you can't train Ryan. You got to team effort. You got to collaborate. More to say, but as a trainer, you shouldn't let a boxer do that, because if you're not training him, that's that's it. It's either your way or no way. You know, I can understand some input, but as far as the game plan, it looked like he was giving them good advice. You know, stay on the outside, box them, whatever, whatnot. But at the same time, you look at what Ryan did. Tank just waited him out. He waited him out. You know, Ryan was real green. He rushed in this fight head over heels, and I think a lot of things didn't work to his favor. You know, he did get a lot of money for the fight. I think the fight did really well. I think it did over 1.3 something, you know, but that's still a lot of money. That's like 120 million just off that. Then you got the gate, and then you got, you know, merch, whatever, whatnot. But it was a lot of money made that night, you know. So here nor there, on the Gervonta side, you know, I really like this guy. You know, he's that deal. I like him because he could take a punch and he could dish it out. When it comes to sparring with Devin Haney and the Shakur Stevenson and all the different matchups, I think with him, it's going to be a difference when they get in that ring and they got on them 8-ounce gloves. It seems to me like when he touches something, it drops. You know, if you looked at that Ryan Garcia fight, he didn't throw no headshots at all. That was the first headshot he threw in the second round. He caught him with an overhand left. I mean, put him down instantly. You know, Tank, he's that real deal. Shakur is that real deal. Devin Haney is that real deal. But I believe, this is my belief, I believe Devin Haney is the weaker of the three. I believe Shakur probably think he could get Tank. But I believe when he get in there, Shakur got great defense. Don't get me wrong. But I believe when he get in there, I believe Tank gonna touch him too. I just believe that. I know Shakur the truth too, and I know this is going up on YouTube. Shakur my guy. I just think, and you know, yeah, it's the hype train. Tank made his name, but I believe Tank has gotten a lot better as you watch him. You know, Shakur, a great boxer. Devin Haney, you know, I believe he gets touched a little too much to be going up against Gervonta, and I think his dad would stop it. I think it would be one of those moments where like Zab Zuda dad stopped the fight, you know, where you don't want to watch your son take that type of punishment. I really believe it'll be like that. And Bill Haney, you know, he talks a lot for his son, but you know, I think, you know, Devin is the champ. You have to respect that. But Devin, I don't think he wants them fights this early as far as Shakur Stevenson. I think he could drag it out a little bit, you know, take a couple fights, work on a couple things, you know, let the build up and anticipation build up, you know, and remain the champion for a little bit longer. You got Shakur, you know, he's just sitting there. They know not to call him out. They know not to say his name. He like the boogeyman. They know not to say his name. But I believe if they put him in front of Tank and Tank had to deal with him, I think that would be a great fight. It wouldn't be a money fight. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't generate a lot of money. It generate a lot of boxing interest for the boxing fans, but it wouldn't generate as much as Ryan Garcia. It's something about fighting a Mexican fighter. That's the remedy for the pay-per-view plug. You know, when you fight, you take a black fighter and put him up against a Mexican fighter. It's just a remedy for a good fight, for one, and two, a lot of sales. You know, a lot of sales. Regardless of who wins, that's just the remedy. You know, you can have big names, but sometimes, you know, Shakur Stevenson, I believe he's better than what his name is. You know, his name is not as known as the other two. But I believe a lot of people do know him from the Olympic silver medalist. But, you know, probably even more than Devin Haney. But Devin Haney, you know, he hold all the belts at the 135 division. And that tells you how powerful Tank name is. If he could have a fight over here, and it's not a title fight, but he had a fight on pay-per-view, and it does ridiculous numbers. And I don't think Devin Haney moving numbers like that. It's just the factor Tank having that knockout factor, you know, that Tyson feeling, you know, you never know when it's gonna be over, you know. He definitely hits hard, both hands. So with that being said, you know, I just definitely want to touch on that, and let me know what you guys believe. You know, if you guys follow boxing at all, let me know what you believe down in the comments. You know, first time touching my page, you know, go ahead and bless yourself and hit that subscribe button, you know, hit the notification bell, you know, and let's get to it. Let's talk. You know, and I want to say this too. I threw a fight party. The fight party was bananas, you know, and then like after the fight party was over, I was getting so many calls. Bro, man, I want money, da da da. Nobody sent me no money, but I did tell them what the round was going to be, and some people took it, some people didn't. The people that took it, that bet on it, won. You know, I want to say shout out to you guys. But yeah, this Fight Night Freddy, you know, this the champ talking, you know, the people's champ. Let's get to it, you know. Stay tuned, coming to you with some more SNS TIGR. We back at it, you know. TG and Title, we out this thing. Hey, 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 hey.